C3, Climate Change Corporation. Our mission is to deliver to our technical partner, V-Fuels, a sustainable, renewable oil supply. This will involve the acquisition of existing oil-bearing crops and oil-bearing trees, and will involve the planting of trees to create our very own oil fields. In Madagascar, we have secured contracts to intercrop Jatropha with private copra farmers and indeed the state copra company. The rainy season is upon us in northern Madagascar, and for C3, that means planting of Jatropha. As you can see around me, we are planting these cuttings that we purchased from the vanilla farmers, and we are using them to intercrop between coconut plantations. This will allow us to get the maximum financial yield per hectare of land. The Jatropha cuttings you can see here were only planted 6 weeks ago, and as you can see, they are already flowering. We will be harvesting fruits from these Jatropha trees within the year. These coconut plantations are part of a 10-year contract under C3 for the harvesting and production of copra oil. We are also intercropping this plantation with Jatropha, which will create a greater oil yield per hectare and create a greater financial return to the farmer. We have secured various contracts with the Vanilla Farmers Association. Here, the vanilla farmer uses Jatropha as supports for their crop, but to date have had no use for the Jatropha seeds.
I manage about 15,000 hectares of vanilla plantation using only Jatropha.
The reason why C3 have chosen to come to Madagascar is quite simply the vanilla farmers. Hidden away in the countryside are 15,000 hectares of vanilla plantation, all using Jatropha as the support. Here we see some vanilla, here we see the Jatropha. At our warehouse in Sambava, we receive seeds from the smallest farmers, delivering 1 bag at a time to large commercial deliveries.
We are interested to have 10 years contract with C3 to plant Jatropha and copra, and we think to create some jobs and produce some more whales. After the population can have some money.
In Malawi, we are pioneering with our Jatropha plantations and have secured contracts with individual farmers, which encompass over 5,000 hectares of land. The word drought has crept into the southern African country of Malawi. The staple diet of maize is in trouble. The plantations of tobacco, which is the money-making plantation for most of the Malawian farmers, is also in trouble. The good news, however, is that C3 are here planting Jatropha, which is a virtual drought-resistant tree. With their association with the Biodiesel Agricultural Association, planting is taking place on a large scale here in Malawi. Between the Jatropha trees, plantations of maize were planted. These, unfortunately, due to the drought conditions, did not survive. The Jatropha, however, has survived. And these were only planted in December. It is now March. We will have a harvest of Jatropha seeds this year from this plantation.
We use it to grow tobacco at first for 6 years, but no gain. Now we have changed. We are growing jatropha. About some months, we want to see how much we'll gain from this.
This jatropha plantation is on a farm which used to plant tobacco. The tobacco farmers are now tired of planting tobacco. Day in, day out, year in, year out, with the prices going down. The good news with jatropha is they plant this tree only once and harvest it every year for 30 to 50 years.
C3 actually finances the purchase of seed, nursery management, training, together with biodiesel agriculture. Biodiesel agriculture is actually involved on the ground, and C3 pays management costs. They pay for the seed, seedlings, cuttings that are being planted. C3 is paying a rate of 100 kwacha per day here to our workers, which is above the normal government wage rate, which is 90 tambala. And I think it's an incentive for these workers in particular, because as much as the work may be, not many people get a higher rate than the basic rate here in Malawi.
Trees like these exist in all Malawian villages. And as you can see, this tree's been here for some time and has an enormous amount of seeds on it. The rains are just stopping and it's time to harvest. These seeds have never had a commercial value in the past. We are now generating a value, a financial return in these villages with these trees that have never had a commercial value. Mozambique has seen C3's first commercial acquisition of a copra oil expelling plant.
Arriving of C3 is really a big advantage, because there is a way that everybody is going to be having some money, as C3 is going to buy all the copra. It's got a big project of which is going to do intercropping with jatropha, which is a very, very big advantage. This will make the peasants and everybody around always have money. And this is really the battle against poverty, which is taking place in this environment. And we welcome C3 in our town.
The area behind me, across the bay, is called Linga Linga. In the past, nobody had collected or purchased copra. C3 has now set up a buying station on this side of the bay and teamed up with the local inhabitants in order for them to harvest, collect and ship across in a dhow half a ton of copra at a time. From here it is collected and taken to the C3 factory. During C3's processing of copra oil, no product is wasted. The byproducts, in this case the shells, are used to fire the boiler. Here, the foundations are being prepared for the installation of the neutralizing plant. This will extract the acid from the oil and stabilize it for transport to Europe. C3 have secured an option to purchase an additional oil processing plant. This is due to the untapped wealth of resource in the area. Future projects include Indonesia. Here, the local government of Lombok and Sumbawa have identified over 600,000 hectares of their own land of which they want to plant Jatropha. C3 are in final negotiations with this government to plant on 250,000 hectares over the next 5 years. Future projects include the Ministry of Defence in the United Kingdom. Here, C3 has partnered with the DDA, Defence Diversification Agency, and presented a project that will collect the used cooking oil from military canteens and process this into biodiesel. Eventually, the military will use this biodiesel in its driver training schools throughout the United Kingdom. While C3 are developing sustainable oil fields, creating jobs and the ability to earn an income in the areas of our operations, C3 are also following the principles of fair trade.